Hello, Zach Daniels here, and I am just reviewing my scores in preparation for Tuesday's concert with the Oklahoma Community Orchestra. Right now, I find myself looking at the Glinka, Ruslan and Ludmilla Overture. For those that don't know, what is an overture? You always see it sort of starting a show. So overtures have their roots back in the classical era and even the Baroque, where you would be having an opera and, well, you didn't just sit there and announce over a megaphone, hey, things are about to start, because we didn't really have megaphones yet. So how do you get people to know that the opera is about to start? Well, as they're all milling about, getting their drinks and, communicating with friends, trying to find their seats, all of a sudden, they would hear the orchestra play, and just a nice, big opening piece, something that's really loud, bombastic. It might have some slower movements in there, not movements, slower sections in there, etc. But for the most part, it's meant to sort of let you know, hey, show's about to start, find your seats type thing. And, they would typically be several minutes long, 4 and 5. Some of them are 10 plus minutes long. It's really enough to sort of get things together and get to your seats. And a lot of people think of this as sort of the definitive Russian curtain opener, as it were. And in fact, this overture has a bit of a special place because it actually was written when rehearsals were already in session. So they're rehearsing the opera, and Glinka has still yet to write the overture. Because obviously, if you're writing an opera, you want to write that out, and then if possible, you want to have the overture linked to what you've written musically for the opera. And so it's not too uncommon for composers to leave it to the last minute, but doing it during the rehearsals is a little late by most people's standards. Unless you're Mozart, in which case you're literally writing one of your operatic overtures the day of the premiere. And, that's definitely dicey. But this is a really fast-paced piece. And to give you an idea, here is our quarter note. Those are quarter notes. That is how fast this thing is flying. In fact, it is marked presto. It is incredibly fast. And it's got lots of super fast and intricate string runs, lots of nice flashy woodwind runs, but it also has these slower sections. And the tempo changes are really just part of the challenge here, but one of the challenges you have is anytime we slow down as an orchestra, we actually tend to want to bring the tempo down. So just because we're playing half notes and whole notes, instead we start saying, hey, I need to slow down. And so then it's even more important to keep the pace going. And there's a section near the middle where you have all the winds playing this lovely line. Let me go ahead and play a little bit of it for you. And it's a lovely line, but again, it's nice and drawn out, and that's where your attention is, so it's natural that you're going to want to slow it down. But then in the violins and some of the woodwinds on and off, you have a different line happening. It's sort of the same line, but it's just sort of sped up. And like that, and it's a little difficult to keep it running at that tempo, especially since you've got this huge slowdown happening in the winds. And so what we do is we actually tell the performers to play in front of the beat. And basically what that means is, hey, you're going to play as on the beat as you can, even a little bit ahead. And what that does is it sort of compensates it to where the tempo will end up being the same throughout. But then at the very end, there's an actual tempo change, not just a, we're playing slower notes moment, but at the end, there is a special tempo marking called più mosso. And what that means is a little faster. That's effectively what it means, move it along, move it forward type thing. And so what we have to do is take an already super fast piece, we have to speed it up a little bit more even, do something like, and it's incredibly hard to get right, but if you do a più mosso just right in this case, it's actually not going to be hardly detectable at first to the audience, and that's my goal, is to make sure that this più mosso, despite being faster, takes the audience a second to recognize, because I'm going to make it a very smooth job, I hope, with the orchestra on Tuesday night. So that's a little bit about overtures and tempos and più mosso as I look at Glinka's Ruslan and Ludmilla Overture in preparation for Tuesday night's Oklahoma Community Orchestra concert. See you there.